Welcome to the Growing Up Chatham podcast. I'm Tiffany Hancock. The Growing Up Chatham podcast explores the happenings that shape Chatham County, North Carolina. In today's episode, we will be highlighting the Chatham County Farmland Preservation Program. We are thrilled to have Andrew Waters as our guest, who will provide insights into this incredible initiative. Welcome, Andrew. We appreciate you taking the time to be part of the Growing Up Chatham podcast. Could you share more about your role in the Farm Preservation Program?
I am Andrew Waters. I am the Farmland Preservation Coordinator for Chatham County. I actually work here in the Soil and Water Conservation District.
Andrew, can you explain Chatham County's Farmland Preservation Program?
There's really 4 different parts to our Farmland Preservation Program. The newest part, the most significant part, is our what we're calling our Chatham Agricultural Preservation and Development Trust Fund. This is a trust fund that we've established to provide grants for farmland preservation, conservation easements. And I want to emphasize that through this program, we are working with our local and regional land trusts. These grant funds that are going towards farmland preservation, conservation easements are actually being awarded to the land trusts, and then the landowners will be working with the land trusts on the farmland preservation. But these are funds that can be used to actually acquire what's called a conservation easement. And this is a legal instrument, a legal document that puts certain stipulations on your property so it can be permanently preserved for agricultural use and farmland preservation. The second element of our program is one that you may be familiar with. That's our Voluntary Agricultural District program. This is a program that's been around for a long time, over 20 years now, and some of you may be familiar with this program. But I'm really hoping to enhance our Voluntary Agricultural District program and make it a program where our participants, our members in the Voluntary Agricultural District, can communicate with each other, can communicate to our government officials and elected officials about their needs and their opinions on farmland preservation. So we'll be working on some kind of enhancements to our Voluntary Agricultural District program. Of course, this is the program where you voluntarily agree to conserve or preserve your agricultural land, and in return you get certain benefits, including the sign that you may have seen on some roadsides announcing that this property is participating in our Voluntary Agricultural District program. So that's the second element of the program. The third element of the program is our Farmland Preservation Plan. This is a planning document. We actually did our first Farmland Preservation Plan back in 2009. We are currently undergoing an update to that plan, a revision to that plan that we're going to be making public here in the next few months. But this is a planning document that lays out several goals and objectives for things that Chatham County can be focusing on as far as enhancing our agricultural industry, helping our farmers kind of promote and distribute their goods more effectively, and also help with some initiatives towards preserving our agricultural land here in Chatham County, because of course a lot of that land is being threatened by the exponential growth and development that we're experiencing here in the county. And then the fourth element is really just having me being a resource to our Chatham County farmers and agricultural producers. I'm really here to answer your questions about farmland preservation, about conservation easements, kind of to be an impartial resource for you to kind of help guide you through the farmland preservation process, and really to help you let you know whether this is a good option for you and your family and your farm. So there's really these 4 elements. Our trust fund, which is funding some acquisition grants for farmland preservation conservation easements, improvements to our Voluntary Agricultural District program, our farmland preservation plan, and then being a resource for our agricultural producers and farmers here in Chatham County regarding farmland preservation issues.
How can farmers participate in the Farmland Preservation Program?
Really, the easiest way is to participate in our voluntary agricultural district program. You're probably familiar with this program from the signs, the voluntary agricultural district signs that you've probably seen driving around Chatham County. Again, this is a voluntary agreement that the county enters into with our farmers and agricultural producers. The farmers pledge not to develop their land or sell their land for development while they're participating in the program, but it is a voluntary program, and you can withdraw from the program as long as you give us notice. And then in return, you get the sign and some other benefits for participation that I'm happy to go over with you in person or on the phone. The other way is for farmers, landowners, agricultural producers who are interested in kind of taking that next step and either thinking about permanent farmland preservation through a conservation easement or just wanting to learn more about what's involved in that. Those farmers should reach out to me and I can set up a meeting with you to kind of review what's involved in that and certainly to help you connect with one of our land trust partners if you want to take the next step. We do have an agricultural advisory board that oversees this program and our work here in the Farmland Preservation Program. That is a citizen board. We rely on our farmers and agricultural producers to help us with that board and to help provide governance and oversight of that program, so you can certainly apply to serve on that board. We do have some openings on that board right now. We're going to be rolling out some landowner workshops for you to come and just sit in and learn some more about farmland preservation from me, learn some more about some farmland preservation topics, including maybe some estate planning, some farmland transition planning, from some of our partners. So we'll be announcing some of those program opportunities later this year.
What benefits can farmers expect from participating in the Farmland Preservation Program?
So there's a variety of benefits that farmers can gain from participating in our Farmland Preservation Program. I really think the main benefit is just the message that your participation sends to our local governments here in Chatham County, to our elected officials. We need to let those folks know that farmland preservation is an important issue here in this county and that they need to continue to support our farmland preservation initiatives. So that's really an important way. Of course, permanent farmland preservation through a conservation easement is kind of the ultimate step in farmland preservation. We are happy to work with you, to kind of educate you, to kind of get you the resources that you need to understand whether that's the good option for you and your family. Again, connect you with those land conservation, land trust organizations that can help you take that next step. One of the most important things that we're doing, and this was actually identified as the #1 kind of issue or need that's out there in Chatham County in our farmland preservation planning process, is that, you know, a lot of our farmers, a lot of our agricultural producers are getting older. They're trying to figure out what to do with their farmland when they're gone. And so we're really working on developing some farmland transition programming and resources to help guide you through that process, to help you and your family figure out how that farmland is going to be used, how it's going to be conveyed to your heirs, or what's going to happen to that farmland after you're gone. This is a nationwide issue. Chatham County is certainly not alone in kind of struggling with these issues. It's not that easy to find resources about farmland transition on the World Wide Web or just kind of out there in the general public. So we're really going to work hard on trying to get our farmers who are figuring out what to do with their property as they're getting older, some of those resources that they need to help guide them through that process.
In the event that someone needs to sell their property, will there be any penalty for the landowner or their heirs?
The simple answer to that is related to our voluntary agricultural district program. Again, this is a voluntary program. You can withdraw from that program at any time without penalty. If you need to sell your property, or you've decided to no longer keep your property in that program. Again, this is a program that is really just sending the message that farmland is important for Chatham County and our quality of life here in Chatham County. Now, when you're thinking about kind of taking that next step and maybe putting your land or your farm under a permanent conservation easement, there are a lot of things that you need to think about and plan out as you're kind of preparing that conservation easement and talking to the land trust about that conservation easement. One of the major things that a farmland conservation easement is going to do is it is going to restrict the ways that you can subdivide your property. So if you have a 100-acre property and you put it under a conservation easement, you can't just divide it into 4 parts and give 25 acres to each of your 4 heirs. You need to think more strategically about how that land, how that property can be subdivided in order to kind of maintain the viability of the agricultural resources and still make your heirs whole. So a lot of times we see people in this situation kind of giving their farmland to the members of their family that are involved in farming and giving other assets to their other heirs who maybe aren't involved in the farming operations. But these are the kind of issues that we really need to sit down and think through when we're talking about a conservation easement on your farmland. How the land can be conveyed and still preserved through one of these agreements.
So how can farmers learn more about the Farm Preservation Program?
The simplest way is to go on the World Wide Web and look up the Chatham County Soil and Water Conservation District page. There's a menu on the left there, and there's a Farmland Preservation tab that's about midway down on the left that you can click on and get some of this basic information about our program and the different aspects of the program. The main way that I would encourage you to learn more is to reach out to me. Part of my job is, again, to be a resource for landowners, to be available to sit down and talk to them about different aspects of our Farmland Preservation Program, about what it means to conserve your land through a conservation easement or some of the other options that we have available here through our Farmland Preservation Program. So I really encourage anyone who's interested in learning more about this to reach out to me. The best way to get in touch with me is through my email address, which is andrew.waters, W-A-T-E-R-S, at chathamcountync.gov.
Thank you once again, Andrew, for being a part of our Growing Up Chatham podcast and for sharing detailed insights about the Farmland Preservation Program. To learn more about the program, feel free to reach out to Andrew via email at andrew.waters@chathamcountync.gov, or you can call his office at 919-545-8447. If he is unavailable, leave a voicemail for him to get back to you. Interested in being a guest on the Growing Up Chatham podcast? Send me an email with your information. If your content aligns with Growing Up Chatham, I will contact you for further details. You can reach me at twhancock@ncsu.edu. Until next time, this is Tiffany Hancock with the Growing Up Chatham podcast, produced by North Carolina Cooperative Extension Chatham County Center.